Hi all, welcome back. Enemy Action Kharkov, German Solo, part 37 I think this is going to be. Okay, just moving straight on, just uploaded that last part. So we still have this in the auxiliary card box, so it becomes a command card. It's not turn 9 and 10, it's not turn 6, so we're going to activate all units in the army. 40th Army. I feel like our core Rouse unit there that's unsupplied is in for trouble. And just to make it look even worse, these two guys are in the reserve units box, so they could come out to play as well. Okay, so 40th Army, now they're the ones that have their objective, aren't they? Is it in there? Yeah. I'll put it on top just now, but we need to remember that guy's there, I think. Well, we shouldn't really forget that, but well, you never know. Right, so well, it's got to be a unit that reaches it, because they do have units round about. So if this was a front objective marker, it would be moving right now. But I think it's only when it becomes occupied, isn't it? Yeah, army objective removal, page 16, 9.13. An army objective marker is removed from play when any Soviet unit enters the last listed hex on the army objective marker. Hex 0215 for the 40th Army. Right, that's down in Gotnya. Yeah, there's nothing been in there. Even if other hexes on the marker have not yet been entered. Or the front marker, yeah. So it doesn't, it moves. Yeah, an army objective mark is considered reached only when a Soviet unit of any army enters the marker's hex. When this occurs, move the army objective marker to the next hex listed. Yeah. Right. Okay. So it's not been occupied yet to move it. So, although, yeah, that's going to happen quite soon as well, I think. So. It's still where it is anyway at the moment. Okay. So, what we got here, right, let's activate our units. So we've got these three guys activated, and I suppose in some ways I could tilt them as well, because they are active, but just in case they're not used, and we know that they're reserves anyway, so we'll just leave them as that. Okay, and then of course they've got their own set of instructions, haven't they? 9.26. Take a VP hex. No, that's not an option. There's not a VP hex. Adjacent to German unit, which is method 8. Move to an unoccupied hex adjacent to German unit, and not adjacent to Soviet unit, adjacent to that same German unit. Well, in actual fact, yeah, Unit 4 can get right round the back here and surround this guy. Can't he? Move to an unoccupied hex that is adjacent to German unit and not adjacent to Soviet unit. Yeah, so, I mean, these two... Well, actually, no, that's not true, Grant. In descending order... yeah, this guy's actually going to do it, isn't he? So Unit 10, in descending order, can move to an unoccupied hex that's adjacent to German unit and not adjacent to a Soviet unit, adjacent to that same German unit. Oh, hang on though. A unit starting in a hex satisfying this movement method does not move by this or any subsequent method. So in actual fact, Unit 10 and Unit 3 are satisfying that, aren't they? They are. I mean, Unit 10. He's in an unoccupied hex, and he's adjacent to a German unit, which is not adjacent to a Soviet unit, adjacent to that same German unit. Yeah, so he's going to lock in there. That's totally... Yeah, that was weird. I thought this was going to happen. I mean, I'm pretty sure Unit 4 will come around to here then. Still. Can he make it? 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, he can. So 9.25 on Unit 10. just in case. Well, in actual fact, he's going to go and surround now, isn't he? So he's not going to move unless directed by 9.25. 9.25 wants to prefer a hex within current Soviet operational limit, a hex that would cause German unit to become surrounded. There you go. Because this guy's not surrounded at the moment, he can move into this hex. So this guy can go 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 4 and surround this guy. Yeah, so he's actually going to kind of spoil it a bit, isn't he? By going 1, 2, 3, 4. Because now this guy does not have a hex that he can move into with movement method 8. Does he? No. Okay, so that's unit 10 moved. So yeah, unit 4. Well, he can't now. He can't, because that's going to be adjacent to that. That's going to be adjacent to that. And then if he was able to get around there, that's adjacent to that. And so's that. Yeah. So no, he can't move the movement method 8 now. Okay, fair enough. And unit 3 satisfies the method, so 9.25 is going to adjust him. I totally think so. Because he's already surrounding, and in fact, if he did adjust, he would probably break that, wouldn't he? Yeah, it's not adjacent to, so you know. Enter Garrison here. Well, I do need to consider, because no, because if he moves here, he's not surrounded. If he moves here, he's not surrounded. Yeah, so he can't move from there, I don't think. And if he can't move, does that mean he can't move by any other method then? Which I don't think he would have done anyway. Right, I think that's right. Although I did rush through that a little bit. 1, 2, 3, or 1, 2, 3. Yeah, I mean, these are the 3 hexes he could move into. And like I say, if he moves into this one, it breaks around on that guy. And if he moves into this one, it breaks around on that guy. So, yeah, okay. So he walks in there. Right, so only unit 4 to look at. And he can't do anything with method 8. And just to open it up a bit, there's not any German units close by. That's only one. Okay, so, and then the last, no, it's not the last method. The third method is closer to German unit and army objective. Locate the German unit in or closest to the active army objective marker hex. Right, well, we know there's one, and that's the second SS unit in here. So here's a target for this. And then we want to move as close as possible to that German unit, enter a hex adjacent to that unit if able. And then if starting adjacent, well, we're not. So he is actually going to probably move away. Yeah, the preferences are just to find the target, aren't they? Yeah, okay. Right, okay, well, where's this guy going to move to then? He wants to get closer to his army... he wants to get closer... Well, which is actually his army objective marker, because that's the unit he's trying to get close up to it. Yeah, I think there's only one option there, and it's here, which gets him 2 away. 1, 2, 3 into the woods, and then 4 into there. You can't get across into here. So this is the only option. 1, 2, 3 is stuck in there. Well, 1, 2, 3, 4. You could do it that way. There's only that one that gets some to within 2 hexes. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3, 4. But that's 3 away. Yeah, okay. So he's getting as close as possible. So that's it there. So 1, 2, 3. 4 into there. He was here, wasn't he? Yeah, no restrictions broken. This guy's still surrounded, that's fine. Yeah, I mean, I suppose I'm moving away from this guy. They don't need any help. They've got some reserves that they're going to be able to use in a minute anyway. So, yeah. Probably makes some sense. Okay, that's all the movement complete. So we're going to conduct attack checks. Right. And we're checking Unit 3 here. So let's zoom in there, but let's keep these two in mind. So Unit 3, and then he'll get obviously attack from Unit 10. So it's 7 against 2. However, there's some additions and some subtractions here. 7 against 2, he gets a +1 for the IP. So, and he can still have that IP. Remember, it was built before he went out of supply. So 7 against 3. However, all German units are out of supply, so that's a -2. So it's 7 against. Went up to 3 and now it's down to 1. So it's 7 against 1. We've got 7 to 1 odds. So it's going to happen, right? So these guys are attacking. So, and then what do we actually have? We have 7 against 2, which is 3 to 1 odds. Because we just need to keep track on in case it was overwhelming. 7 against 3, did I say? Yeah, and then that guy's a 3-stepper, isn't he? So 1, 2, 3 chip pools as well. No auxiliary card. Obviously, this was the auxiliary card from the simples. So 3 to 1 odds with 3 chip pools, and we're attacking. Yeah, okay. Right, let's see reserves then. So I had active reserves, but not going to attack overwhelming. Well, it's not overwhelming. So where are we putting the Unit 1? Adjacent to the hex under attack, in Soviet reserve supply. I think any one of the hexes round this guy are suitable. So a non-reserve unit in that active front is in or proximate to the hex. And when it's saying that, I mean, I can only assume that it means this unit's proximate to this. This unit's proximate to that. I mean, they have just moved, but I might have that wrong. What if I've got that wrong? Let's see what the definition of proximate is. Let's look at the wording on it. So page 22, and this starts on page 21, 9.3, Soviet activation terminology. But it's on page 22, proximate. A unit is proximate to a target hex or unit if it has sufficient movement points to reach the target in one move. So we're looking at proximate to a hex here. A unit is proximate to an empty or friendly occupied hex if it has sufficient movement points to move and enter the hex. And then it tells you about enemy unit and garrison hex. But let's just see. Movement restrictions are taken into account to determine proximity. These include terrain, enemy units. These include terrain, enemy units and zones of control, supply state and stacking limits. German units trace proximity using regular movement, not strategic movement. A German unit can't trace proximity through a garrison hex or through a hex adjacent to a garrison hex unless a German unit is adjacent to the garrison hex. So yeah, that's all you're getting there. Am I going into one of my Grantos daft modes here? Martin's nodding his head, I think. Well, you know what? Let's just. I don't want to go and ask another daft. Well, this is a daft. It feels like this is a daft question. Is this what we got here? Yeah, it's just one guy, isn't it? Is he proximate? 1, 2, 3. Well, he's proximate to that one, but 1, 2, 3. He's not proximate to that. 1, 2. Oh, we can't get anybody proximate to that one. We can definitely get other units proximate to these, but I kind of feel that it's not really saying that. It's not saying that, okay, these units have moved. They can't move to here. I don't think that's what it's meaning. I think it's meaning where the unit is, and it's got proximity to that hex, so a reserve can appear here. I really think that's what it's meaning. Please tell me I'm just being daft and these units are proximate to these hexes. There you go, Martin. There's a carrot for you there. Okay, so I'm going to say all the hexes are targetable. Where am I then? Wait, I moved away. What did I do? Right. Yeah, that was the non-reserve unit in active front is an approximate to it. Placement would not violate stacking limits within operational not yeah. So preferences. In Soviet support, if attack unsupported, no. Causing surrounded target, he's already surrounded. Not across the Dnieper outside. No. Causing target to be flanked, he's already flanked. Unoccupied hex, there we go. So unoccupied hex, obviously it's going to be one of these four. Highest hex number is 0406. So that's good because this guy's proximate to it. So 0406. Now then we would want, and just to check, he can trace reserve supply. He's adjacent to the target. We know this guy's proximate to the hex. Yeah, everyone's fine. And this guy would want to reach one of the other empty hexes, and fortunately for me, being paranoid about this one maybe not being within it, he's going to go to the empty hex. It's got the highest numbered hex, and it's going to be that one this time. And to double check though with that one, you can trace 1, 2 onto this road. He's not tracing through 1, 2 onto this road and then away. He's good. And now, hang on, I put them in both. Well, let's just do it properly, Grant. So when I put that guy in, we've now got 12 to 2. We've got 6 to 1 odds. Well, yeah. There's 6 to 1 with a large attack. Is that right? It's not going to be a large attack though, Grant, is it? It's going to be 5. 9, 12. He's only a 2 strength unit, eh? 12 against 2, 6 to 1 odds, and then adds on our 2 chip pools. So it's 5. So if it had been large attack with 6 to 1, we would not have brought this guy in. But however, it's not. So he is coming in. It's not overwhelming yet. So that makes it 16 to 2, which does make it 8 to 1. Oh, they're not going to draw a card then, are they? 8 to 1 with another chip pool. Is that right? Oh, hang on, Grant. The fact he's out of supply, Grant. You divvy. Defenders unsupplied, the ratio can be 5 to 1. Right, let's take these guys back. Let's rewind a little bit and find out where we started there. I think that guy coming in probably does it, doesn't it? Right, reset these dice. Sorry. 7 to 2 was 3 to 1 with 3 chip pools. Right. 3 to 1, 3 chip pools. Because the defenders are unsupplied, we only need a ratio of 5 to 1, and then the overwhelming attack kicks in. Well, that's not enough. So they need to add the first guy, and he's going in that hex there. So that's now 12. Yeah, that gives you the 6 to 1, Grant, doesn't it? So that gives you 6 to 1. So now we do stop. So this guy's not coming in then. 6 to 1, and it added another 2 chips with 5 chip pools. We're right now? 12 to 2, 6 to 1, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 chip pools. Yeah, so I'm going to put this guy back in the reserve units box. He's not going to come, he's not required. The other guy's not adjacent to German unit anyway, so that's fine. Okay, and we're not going to draw a combat tactic because the odds are overwhelming. Would you like to play a card, Grant? Well, no, I was that annoyed with the last one that I should have played. So may as well just, yeah, I'm not fussed about this guy anyway. Sorry. But well, you've got to think that way. Eh? I think that sometimes what war's all about. Not very nice, is it? Okay, Grant, let's not go into any of that. So 61, 5-chip pools. Now, unsupplied as well. Something else happens, eh? Status for unsupplied. Where is it? It's on another queried. It would be. No, it's not on that page. Here we are. Right, out of supply. I can't play a combat tactic. Yeah, there we go. I knew that. No, you didn't, Grant. Well, I would have. Yeah. Anyway, if mechanised, yeah, no, it doesn't matter. German may attack only. Yeah, that doesn't matter. Right, out of spy only. Enemy attackers may draw 1 extra combat chit and may disregard 1 attacker hit. So they will draw 6 instead of 5, and they're going to disregard 1 hit. So yeah, let's just get this over and done with. He's only 2 strength. He's got an IP. He's in the woods. Well, he's 2 steps. I thought he was only 1 step. So there is that. But he is surrounded. His first retreat's going to take a. In fact, can he not only retreat, or is that maybe not? No, he's okay. Is it isolated? Can only retreat. Yeah, infantry unit may move or retreat no more than 1 hex. That's isolated. So he can retreat 2 hexes. Oh, he's not got a 2 hex retreat, has he? Can he go that way? I don't know. Right, let's just draw some chits. It might not matter. It probably won't matter. So 6 chits incoming. Okay, maybe it might matter. He's in the woods. So we're starting with a D-1. How about that? That's one of the ones we wanted for the last combat though. And that's one of the ones we didn't want for the last combat, artillery. Right, no artillery played, so yeah, it's looking pretty good up to now. Well, yeah, it's good. At City Town was clear on the back, so it's not another hit to us, so or not a hit to us. So 3 to come. Okay, 3 to 1, that works. That's our first hit. Well, more artillery just to make fun of me again. Not that it mattered in this battle, but well, I suppose I still had the card in my hand. I could have played it right enough. What is the other one for defender? So you know, an A1 and a D-1. Yeah, but oh no, I couldn't play combat tactics. I know that though. I know that. Right, when it come. Okay, I was a bit disappointed when I seen it because it's another hit to us, but then I was forgetting we've got an IP, so in actual fact, yeah, why not? It's going to be a hit to them, and it's going to be one of these, well, it's going to be this guy, I think. One of these 3-step units obviously taking a hit, so, yeah, so the results are, although no, he was reducing a hit, wasn't he? Because of the supply status, I think. So that's 6 chits, 6 to 1. The results are D1, A1, going by the chits. Okay, so D1, A1, our hit though just satisfies, just takes off our IP. And leaves us sitting sweet. Well, not really, but man, that's good though, because I'm amazed that they're going to sit there and probably have to attack that guy again. Although you did see one of the guys did move on that time, but so anyway, that satisfies our hit. So let's just check. I think they were getting to reduce a hit, weren't they? Out of supply. Enemy attackers may draw 1 extra combat chit. We did add that, yeah, we did. And may disregard 1 attacker, right? Yeah, okay. So they do get to soak it up. Now, so nothing happened. Right, no, we're not quite. Well, we are actually. We are done, Grant. He's moved. Everybody moves, so nobody can bounce back. Like I say, no attack check for him because he's adjacent. And yeah, that's it. We're not on turn 4 yet. Once that kicks in, other things are going to start happening, but not as of yet. We can't bounce anybody to reserves. Okay, that's impulse over. That's them completely finished now. They've got 3 cards left. We're going to have an impulse next. Yeah, let's just push on, I think. Although I'm going to have to take just a little short break. Okay, so our impulse next. That's the last 3 cards we've got. They've only got 3 cards as well. So it's quite possible they could use up their 3 cards in this next Soviet impulse. Possible. So what do we do? Now, we still do have this option, and probably it would be this card we want to use to bring this down. Again, it was nice to see the Vornes front card going away. Because obviously the fear was that third tank activating again. But again, if they do activate, I think we worked out that their time's going to be spent taking Belgorod. This unit, did something move in here to help him? I thought something was moving in. What happened with that? It couldn't quite reach, could it? So this guy, well, I'm not sure. He can't carry out the attack with us because of the situation. And these, well, they would do an attack check, but I mean, it's 7 against 5. It's 1 to 1. My guess is the only way it would happen if it was a 4 or 5 card. Both front cards are away and Stavka cards away. So my guess is they're going to have a maximum command value card of a 3. We've both got armor. I can't see it happening. We're not flanked. We're not surrounded and all that. So we could still take a chance and not move this unit yet. However, okay. I didn't quite think of that one, Grant. What if Popov activate, Grant? Because if Popov activate, that guy might get smashed. Yes. Yes, indeed. I mean, okay, I know they just activated, but I'm not going to look through discard piles and that. I mean, I suppose it is open information, and you do start thinking, what's the likelihood of them activating? But, let's just... I don't know. I feel like third tank and Popov have activated probably enough in this turn, so there is a good chance that they might not. Like I say, 3 cards left, but can we take the chance for that? So what happens if we bail out then? What happens if we do it? What does it make things look like? Not nice, really, doesn't it? I think, yeah. What reserves do we get? We get 2 second SS, we get some 57 and 48 core. We get a lot of reserves. Now we're going to be basing on deploying them, within 3 of a 4th Panzer Army unit. So yeah, it would work. We would be able to get them sort of spread across here. I'd really like to take a chance and leave this though. Because if Popov activate now that we've moved, this guy here is going to go. I mean, where can he go? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. He can go way down here. I mean, that's his front objective. But hang on. If they activate again, that's going away. That's moving. And, well, that's a dice roll, isn't it? So we don't know where that's going. To be honest, it should be going more that way, which is what? North? South? I forget. South. It should be going more that way, you would think. Because like Lawrence had pointed out, the fact that these felt like awful close together that way, as in the north-south line. And it should be, Vornes front should be more across that side. To be honest, they seem further across that way than where theirs is, and yeah, they're all round about, but So, but then if I do leave the guy there and they activate, then there's a chance of us losing that guy. Probably quite a high chance. This guy would be able to come on 5. Okay, that hex is full. 12, 6, 7, 8, another 10, maybe 22 to 5. 4 to 1 odds. They're not all coming across the river, so he's not got a defender adjacent anymore. He's in a town, but that would go, the attack would go ahead. So do we take a gamble or not? And what good is it doing us, really? I mean, what I'm saying is, if I move it now and pop off activate, they come through. If I don't move it now and pop off activate, that guy gets smashed. So what would you prefer, Grant? That's what you've got to consider, I suppose. And then thinking, okay, so I'm thinking, right, maybe we don't do it. We keep that card still. Because the other thing is, if Popov don't do anything and we sit here like this, that's tempting fate though, Grant. Because remember, the Soviets start the turn. They start with the first impulse, and then you've got a completely fresh shuffled deck, and then if they draw Popov, this guy's probably in trouble. But they could still draw it here, Grant. You've got 3 cards left. Anyway, what I was thinking was, if I did keep that to the end, I could maybe then sort of say, right, let's just take our chances and bring one of these guys back from the eliminated units box into reserves with that card. I think that's maybe being a little cheeky. And what I certainly would do is I would keep this, because I think if we did get an attack on here, if it did happen and they didn't play artillery, or maybe even if they did play artillery, because all the chits shuffled. Oh no, they didn't. They didn't shuffle in again. So I think we've got another 1 or 2 artillery chits set aside. Okay. Because I was thinking that if it did happen, I would probably chuck that in for artillery and air power. Nah, it's a bit. Plus I think this is a better deployment, isn't it? But yeah, started thinking there as well. It's a chain of it just chains onto something else, doesn't it? About where I want to deploy these 3 40 core units. Now it's got to be from this line across, and the line kind of cuts in there a bit. But where would I deploy them? Because I could deploy them strategically, and possibly deploy them down round about Lozovia here. So with the intent to come across, I mean, that is only 3 strength infantry units, and we get a bunch of 3rd Corps units. But what do I want to do? What do I need to concentrate on? I mean, I was thinking about maybe starting to get a bit cheeky up here and going for them a little bit on turn 4 maybe. But surely I can't deploy the 40 core units up there and then bring the 3rd Corps units up there. Surely some of that's got to come down here. I think so. I think the 3rd Corps needs to do that. So possibly the 40 core units I could deploy up that way, and maybe they could get up to some mischief. Yeah, we get some armoured units to them in turn 5 as well. Is it just 1? Oh no. Yeah, it's a whole 3 set of armoured units for 40 core. That's not until turn 5, like, but that's nice. Yeah. I think the problem is, like, again, the deployment of both the sets of reserves, even the core Rouse ones, it's not urgent. I guess the urgency is, do we make this move? And that's a sort of like, do you want to do that or not? If I don't want to do it, then I've got to deploy some of these reserves, and I want to probably keep artillery back. Well, I would be more likely to play this for a combat tactic than this. because I like the idea of deploying the 340 core units, you know. So do we just do that? And do we deploy them up beside their buddies, and then when the third corps deploy, bring the third corps in more here so they can come across, or depending on how it comes out, flank a little bit maybe, but decisions. Yeah, I'm going to be regretting if they draw a Popov card, don't I? I think. Yeah. But what would you prefer, Grant? What would you prefer, to move that guy and then draw a Popov card and say, "Oh, I'm glad I moved that guy," or what would your reaction be? Would it be, "I'm glad I moved that guy," or would it be, if you didn't, or if you didn't move him, think, "Oh no, these Popov units are coming through"? I suppose that's what you've got to look at. Because when that guy goes back, the Popov units are just going to come and flank Kharkov, aren't they? But he's surely not going to be able to sit there and hold until... I mean, we do get 2 second SS units as well next turn. They're both 3-step, 5 strength as well. You know, and if he did hold there, you know, you could be deploying one of them in here maybe. And maybe both around this area. Again though, you're then letting the Soviets have an impulse of their whole deck shuffled up again, you know. I think I'm going to take a chance and leave the guy. Yeah, I think I'm going to leave him here just now. Well, that probably means I'm leaving them there till the end of turn. Well, I say leaving them there, the Soviets might have something to say about that if they were to activate Popov again. So, right, so I think that means I'm going to play this and deploy the 40 core infantry units. Okay, so let's just go with this then. So they need to be 3 away. Let's see. Yeah, we can probably play raid this, I think. So it says standard reserve deployment. That's not what it's called, is it? Tactical, isn't it? So it's tactical reserve deployment. Yeah, it's just saying it's calling it standard reserve deployment, and the play rate, or we'll go to strategic reserve deployment. So the standard, the big one is you need to be 3 hexes away from an unisolated enemy unit, town or city. 2 if it's on a map edge hex. And strategic is at least 5 hexes away, or 2 if it's a map edge, which is quite interesting. No, it's not really, is it? Because the restriction with the tactical one is that you need to put them within 3 hexes of a unit in the same core, so it needs to be within 3 of these 2 if I'm going that way, you know. Again, or 2, but we could get in this map edge hex, that's the thing. We could just put them in there. But yeah, I mean, where would we wanting to be getting aggressive? I think on this guy probably. We'd probably want to be coming around there, so we've got 2 units in here. Yeah, and some of these infantry would relieve, you know. I think probably we're just putting them all in there then. Because then that way we can put 1 or 2 infantry units in here when we activate, then move the 2 mechanised armoured units into this hex to make this attack on here. Yeah, we're only going to get an attack from one hex with that though, eh? Maybe that's when you need to think about maybe attacking this guy instead then, and getting an attack from 2 or possibly 3 hexes, get a reinforced battle maybe with this guy, and or assault coordination or something like that. Right, okay, well I don't really think it matters that much then. Assuming you're placing them up here, I mean you could start thinking about coming down, placing them down here, but I think the fact they're infantry, yeah, I think it makes more sense to put them up there. Let's hold Kramatorsk. I mean, there is some victory points round about there, you know. I mean, we've got the 2 map edge ones, and this one as well. So that's all to protect, and not only that to protect. If we do get some things going, then we've got Slavansk and possibly Izium to come in. I mean, Slavansk is two victory points. And I've already made a bit of an aggressive move by surrounding that unit. Admittedly, the 3 cards might get him out of that, but we'll see. Right, so I think I'll deploy them in this map edge hex. So let's just double check. Well, I'm going to put them in there because I think it's okay. And I can probably deploy them by any method there, because as long as they're 2 away from... Right, so within the unit's army area, it needs to be from that line across. And supply head hex or clear hex adjacent to supply head. Right, it's saying that and there. A supply head hex is a map edge hex is a supply head hex. That's what I'm trying to say. And I don't know why I'm feeling the need to look it up, but supply a German unit, no. To place a German reserve unit in a hex, the hex must be in a German supply head or a clear hex adjacent to a German supply. Okay. Oh, come on, guys. Right, I brought this up in the Soviet Solo. In fact, I did not ask... Well, I asked the question on my video. I'm looking at supply here. Page 40, rule 13, supply. And I'm looking at supply for hexes. And I'm looking at bullet 2, which says to place a German reserve unit in a hex, the hex must be at a German supply head or a clear hex adjacent to a German supply head. Right, if that's the case and this is wrong, I might be changing this. Well, it doesn't really matter, Grant, does it? What I'm trying to say here is, I was under the impression that, because I mean it even says it in the rules. And I did go through this in the Soviet Solo. So nobody's obviously picked up on that as being a problem, either that or it is right. Where are we? Let me go back and find deploying German reserve. This is 7.1. So tactical reserve deployment, and the bit that I'm interested in is in a German map edge hex or road hex is a valid friendly supply head, 13.1, or a clear terrain hex adjacent to such a hex, right? That's saying there, it can be a clear hex adjacent to a road, you know, and that means, you know, let's just look at this road here. I could put it in here. I'm not talking about how, you know, I could put it in here, which is on the road, or I can put in a clear hex adjacent to the road, right? Now, I thought at first, and this is way back playing Soviet solo, because I'm pretty sure everyone's the same here regarding this, that when you would do that, it wouldn't matter if it was the tactical reserve deployment or the strategic reserve deployment, and you would still be able to put in the hex adjacent to a clear hex adjacent to the road. However, it definitely didn't say that within the instruction on Soviet solo, so I'm just going to read this here, and it's just the same. Place reserve units. This is strategic reserve deployment. Place reserve units in a German map edge hex or road hex that is a valid friendly supply head, 13.1, in the unit's army area, right? That is pretty much word for word, apart from it says the unit's army area, but that's the sort of first bullet of tactical reserve deployment anyway. And at least 5 hexes away from all non-isolated enemy units, garrisons, enemy towns, cities. Distance is reduced to 2. There's no mention there at all about the fact there's not an or a clear terrain hex adjacent to such a hex. But within supply, rule 13, it says to place a German reserve unit in a hex, and it's not specifying what method you're placing the reserve on, if it's tactical or strategic. To place a German reserve unit in a hex must be a German supply head or a clear hex adjacent to German supply head. Right, I'm away to post a question. Right, I was away posting a question about that. I actually checked the Soviet SO rules as well. They're exactly the same when they talk about the supply part, so my guess is you've probably been able to do that no matter which process you're using, tactical or strategic. Sorry, I hope I'm carrying on from where I left off, because I was on pause there for quite some time. And the fact that you can place them in a clear hex adjacent to the supply head road with either method. I mean, at the time when I was playing the Soviet, so I remember talking about it and on camera recorded and whatever, and saying that it's a bit strange that wasn't there, but it's not within the rules for strategic reserve deployment. But when you look at supply, it says to place a reserve, then it can be in that state. So there feels like there's a slight omission there, but I'm maybe just, again, a lot of you guys probably just take that for granted and think, well, you can do it tactical reserve, you can put in a clear hex, but you know, I want to see that written there. You know, if it's meant to be, then it's not an awful lot of text I'm looking for, so I might still have it right. And then the fact that it says in the supply part of the rules, it should maybe have something there to say this doesn't apply to strategic reserve deployment. So now I was saying it might change my mind here on what I'm doing, but it's not. But the reason I thought it might was because, if you recall, I talked before about wanting to try and deploy the core Rouse units and try and get them to a hex I could move them in 4 movement points. But with a strategic reserve deployment, because remember I have to deploy them strategically because we've not got a core Rouse unit on the map. With strategic, I need to be 5 away. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 away. Yeah, this was a hex here. This is 5 away, right? But it's a clear hex, and it is adjacent to a road, a supply head road. So I thought, oh, if I put them there, I can then move them 1. That's broken, but they're infantry, remember? 1, 2 up the road, 3, 4. So I would be able to move them in one go into Kharkov. And then I realised, no, hang on, that's strategic reserve deployment. You can't deploy them in the clear hex adjacent. It's only with tactical deployment. And then that then doesn't allow me to do that. So that's quite important there for me. And then finding out that I've just read within the supply rules has doubted me, thinking, well, I'm doubting the rule now that says that maybe it applies to both strategic and tactical, that you can go nuclear hex adjacent. I mean, I kind of thought that would be allowed, but when I read the rules, it doesn't mention it. It just says, place reserve units in a German map edge hex or road hex that is a valid friendly supply head. It does not then go on to say, or a clear terrain hex adjacent to such a hex. So something's missing somewhere, or it's maybe not meant to be. And then again, that means the supply rules at the back there have got something needing attention as well, then I think. So I say, if that is the case, then I might want to deploy these guys here, but I'll maybe wait on a response to my question. There's no urgency to do it just now, because if I deploy them, it's not that I can move them in this turn anyway, because I've only got one core rouse card. I can't deploy them and then activate them and move them. But I would like to know that, because I may well deploy them there, because it'll then give me two options going into the next turn. If we're leaving this guy there, we're going to have the core rouse units here, and it'll give me, because there's no guarantee I'm going to draw a second SS card, but now I could draw a core rouse card or a second SS, and then at least they would then go and be able to strengthen Kharkov. So, right, that's what I'm a bit concerned about. Anyway, right, so I think I will just go and do that though, and put these guys down here. And just checking again. Right, so, and of course these are place German reserve units in hex of choice on the map within the following restrictions. In the unit's army area, it is in a German map edge or road hex. So it tells me there. Where was I reading it before? Was I reading strategic? No, because that says map edge as well. I don't know what I was reading. Was I actually reading the supply rules? I don't know, because I think I was looking for a bit that said map edge, but it tells you there map edge. And if it's a map edge hex, because it goes on to say at least 3 hexes away from an enemy unit. Well, you can see we're only 2 hexes away from an enemy unit there on the map edge, but then it goes on to say this distance is reduced to 2 hexes if placing the unit in a German map edge hex. And then not in a hex containing a Soviet garrison, but maybe adjacent. And then within these restrictions, place the unit within 3 hexes of a unit in the same core. Well, I'm adjacent to them. And that's going with tactical, but this could just as easily be strategic, because place reserve units in German map edge hex in the unit's army area, and at least 5 hexes away from all non-isolated enemy units, garrisons, and enemy towns and cities. This distance is reduced to 2 hexes of placing the unit in a German map edge hex, so it could go with either one. Was there a difference there in what it needed to be away from? Yeah, because this happened in the Soviet so as well. It was you had to be with strategic. You had to be so many hexes away from the map, from a German map edge hex or something. So it says. Tactical says at least 3 hexes away from an enemy unit or enemy town or city, excluding isolated enemy units. Strategic says at least 5 hexes away from all non-isolated enemy units, garrisons, and enemy towns and cities. So that includes garrisons, that one, whereas the tactical does not. So I mean, if it says that there, if it changes things up there, then has it changed it up that you can't go in a clear hex? It's adjacent. It's not written there, so anyway. So worthwhile asking the question, I think. Right. So are we going with that? Well, yeah. I mean, this part's been 54 minutes long now, Grant, and I don't think we've done an awful lot, have we? Did we have a? I can't remember. I think I've been yakking on a bit, haven't I? Okay. Yeah, well, going to go with that. I'm not quite sure. yeah, it does sort of feel like they're, maybe I could have done one up here. I'm not going to change my mind now, am I? After all that, I don't think I am. I think we're just going to keep them together round Kramatorsk and see if we can get an attack either in on this guy or maybe this guy. The problem with this guy is we're only getting attacked from one hex, so that's why it might be more beneficial to be going that maybe one of the other guys on the outside. But of course they're double the strength, that's the problem. Right, that's that card done. So we only have 2 cards left in our hand. So yeah, big impulse coming up for the Soviets. Well, big card draw anyway to see what we actually get. I do not want Popov appearing, so that's, yeah. Apart from that, I actually don't mind if it's third tank, because I think we can cope with all that. I don't want Popov activating. I'm okay with 6th Army now. I mean, this guy's back. He's not dispersed anymore, so he's in a better state. 69th Army, yeah, bring it on. 40th Army again, yeah. Have another go at that guy, why not? And then 1st Guards, yeah. The only issue with 6th Army or 1st Guards is they're probably going to go and rescue this guy, which would be a shame, but it might be the better option to Popov activating, so there is that. Right, okay, I'm going to put this one up now. I'm going to go away and take a break as well now and get some food, etc. I might get the chance to get back for another part later though, so yeah, closing in on the end of turn 3 now. That seems to have gone pretty quick. Well, to me it feels. Probably not to any of you that are trying to watch through these. But, anyway, okay, I'll be back with the next part shortly, guys. Cheers.